So after one of my last garage videos, quite a few people asked about my wall setup here because I have everything in cabinets. And so primary reason I did that was to keep the noise down because the Active 2.0 is quite loud. I usually wash my cars well into the evening, and I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. Plus, frankly, the sound annoyed me. So here's a quick little walk around to show that. So got a stainless elbow for the outlet. The inlet is in the normal location. And I'm sure as soon as people see this, people are going to say, oh, it's going to overheat or whatever. I've monitored it with a temperature gun. It never exceeds 100 degrees, which is nothing. I mean, somebody using it normal in Arizona is going to exceed that. So I was concerned about that too. Typically, I'll move these foam cannons just to let this back vent breathe. The other place it breathes is over here, and it never seems to be any issue. Never increases heat at all. It's not as much of a concern as I thought. And so I had added inside the cabinet, and these are just some white shaker kitchen cabinets from Lowe's. They were pre-made, prefabricated, not good quality. I definitely wouldn't put them in my kitchen, but they were cheap. I think I paid maybe $300 for both of them. You can see I have, that one's a 30 by 30, this one's a 30 by 18. So it's 18 high, and they're both 12 inches deep. So these are some like rigid acoustic panels I picked up off Amazon. These help with one type of frequency, and then obviously egg crate foam, we've all seen a million times. Those help with another type of frequency. I was able to still keep a little bit of foam cannon storage there. And then these mats, because these cabinets are garbage and they're just like particle board, I was very concerned about it getting wet. It immediately swells up if you ever get it wet. And so this is a mat. I have dogs, and we have these mats inside the house. It's meant for going underneath dog bowls to just kind of keep the mess to a minimum. And so I put a couple of those under there, so as the foam cannons drip, it saves that. And especially when I was doing all the connections, this one really came in handy. There's just a rag I just kind of threw there. But we got some egg crate on the side over there, which is where a lot of the noise comes from. Some up there, and then some on the doors there and there. Nothing makes physical contact. If I'm ever concerned about it, I can always leave one of the doors open or something like that. But, especially when you're using this for a car, it's not like you're using it for 20, 30 minutes straight or something like that. You rinse the car over the course of 2 minutes, and then you don't use it for a while. You foam the car for a couple of minutes, and then you don't use it for a while. So it's not like a power wash in houses or buildings with this thing. So this is my closed cabinets up here. Just some chemicals and bottles and stuff in there. Got my Milwaukee leaf blower mounted on the wall there, just some glove holders and whatnot. So then this, let me actually pop this into a wider angle. There we go. So this is a Giraffe retractable garden hose reel. Works pretty well. I don't use the garden hose part that much, so it definitely does the job. Wasn't too bad, doesn't really kink or anything like that, so I'm pretty happy with that. This is the Fixfans. If anybody's watched Cars with Key videos, that's where that came from. Retractable hose reel with a 1/4-inch steel braided hose. I like the hose. I don't love the hose. It's stiffer. I really miss like the Uberflex Flexzilla type. It's definitely a lot lighter and more flexible, but the actives are so sensitive that you have to use steel braided, and so it is what it is. Gun wise, I kind of Frankensteined this a little bit. This is the Stitzemimil, or however it's said, gun, which is awesome. It's got one of the best swivels out there. I retrofitted a auto connect or a push to connect, the ones where you don't have to pull back the collar, you just click them in, and then it's kind of spring loaded to remove. Super happy with that. So I retrofitted that. And then this nozzle holder came off my old gun, which was the Ridge Washer one. I did like that gun. The trigger was really stiff, but what I liked most about it was it had a trigger lock in the on position. I really missed that, but this trigger's so light you don't really notice it that much, but the swivel's much better on this, and then retrofitting that is pretty sweet. To be honest, if this gun had a trigger lock, it would be perfect. Over here, got my just wands, extensions, and some nozzle holders. This is actually what's called FRP. It's fiberglass reinforced plastic back here. At first, I just had this in front of drywall, and the dripping of these was starting to cause a little damage, so I put that up, which is totally waterproof. They use it in like commercial kitchens and things like that. I just had a dedicated 20 amp outlet run here for the AR630 I just got, the V2. This is my old, just regular 15 amp outlet that was already in here. And then the Griots Garage deionizer, phenomenal unit. Super happy with that. It's got one of the easiest to use bypasses on the top there that there is. I've already refilled the resin once. To be honest, the first resin batch I used it way too much. I used it for every step of the process, and certainly don't need to. A lot of people just use it for the final rinse. And then this is just a nice little ball valve that controls whether the outlet of the deionizer continues up and into my pressure washer, that's falling out, or goes that way, which then goes to the inlet for my giraffe hose. So that's been pretty good to me. And then this, I still got to clean this up a little bit, but this is my hot and cold. So the spigot on the right is a dedicated hot, the spigot on the left is a dedicated cold, and then I merged them just with a little Y fitting with some valves, so I can actually use warm water. Makes all the difference in the world. It's actually currently 35 degrees. I know I'm out here doing this stuff because I live in New York and it's December, so that makes a huge difference, especially in the buckets. It's a lot nicer on your hands, and warm water cleans better. And I even bought the AR630 hot. Not that I'm going to use just hot water, but this way it's good to go. To be honest, I bought it mostly for the nickel head instead of the brass one. Then I have a little T with an extra fitting there. And this is not completed yet, but this is just hot water that comes out of here. And so I'll use this just to add hot to the bucket sometimes, just to kind of warm up what's in there. That's pretty helpful. I'm gonna tidy this up and do probably like an actual sort of bucket filler attachment for it, so I can just put the bucket there and turn it on. But right now it's just kind of rigged up. So that is pretty much everything on the wall here. And then I did the sound videos, so you'll see what that is like. And then I'll do some AR630 videos to compare the sound difference, which should be pretty tremendous. It's just the frequency of it that I'm really looking forward to, and that sort of instant off, whereas all the actives, the Ryobis, the Craftsmans, the Greenworks, they all have that wind down, so like even after you let go of the trigger, it just keeps winding down for quite a while. So yeah, looking forward to that. But here's my wall setup that a few people were asking for. Just got normal cabinets. So I guess the other thing, I have a voltage and amperage monitor. Where's the amps? I don't know, one of these amps. There we go. That's watts. So yeah, that way as I play with different nozzles, you can keep an eye on it, especially because the Active 2.0 is so sensitive to all that stuff. So yeah, that's my wall mount. Stay tuned for the AR630 one.